Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturchio and Chris Gueci.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode and installment of the Mojo Market Report right here on a feel-good basketball Friday. It is, of course, as always, Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci, right here at Chop Studios in beautiful downtown Matawan, New Jersey. Is this actually considered downtown? You're a Matawan guy. No? Mm-mm. So this is nothing. This is like a stretch. Isn't Old Bridge across the street?
I don't even know if we're actually in Matawan.
I'm pretty sure we're in
Aberdeen, Old Bridge, and we're right at the point where they all meet.
So if you want to find us.
Quite literally.
Right
so,
there.
Yeah. I don't
but
know.
Some might believe that we're in New York City. So if you think that, then yes, we're coming to you live from the big city. A lot to get into today, obviously, with the NCAA tournament last night. 2 banger games. Hit one of my prop bets that really, I even texted you about it. I was like, bro, did you see the end of that game? To no response. But it is what it is. But yet he'll send me a reel on Instagram. Like, yo, how funny is it? By the way, the reel that you sent me. Pow, pow. Like the guy just.
Oh, yeah.
Whoo, my God. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But let's start in the NFL. I know we're going to get into the NCAA stuff, but there's a couple things that popped up on the old, I guess you can call the news cycle yesterday. 2 very interesting things, actually. One involving one of my favorite players pretty much of all time, Ezekiel Elliott, and another one involving, he's not a free agent quarterback, franchise tagged quarterback Lamar Jackson. We'll start with Zeke for a second. Yesterday, reports came out because Schefter put it out there on Twitter, and he said Zeke is down to 3 teams. And I'm just like, what do you mean down to 3 teams? Like, what does that mean? And he had mentioned the Cincinnati Bengals. He had mentioned the New York Football Jets. And then he just ruined my night by saying the Philadelphia Eagles were in the conversation.
I think these are how these conversations with Zeke and his people are going right about now. So Zeke's talking to his people. It could be
Rocky, which is the name of his agent.
His agent, Rocky, maybe his girl, his mom, whatever. The
Zeke's mom follows me on Twitter.
Whatever it might be, these ladies and gentlemen, we'll call them, are talking with Zeke, and Zeke's talking about this is what I want, this is what I want to do, and then everybody's like, oh yeah, and then as soon as Zeke leaves, everybody's like, so who's gonna tell him?
Who's gonna tell him what, Chris?
Who's gonna tell him that those teams don't want him? At least that's what I think.
Well, according to Zach Taylor, coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, he was asked about the Zeke situation. Taylor came out and said, "We're all set over here. We're good. Zeke's a great player, but we're all set." So now all of a sudden,
that's the only one that makes sense
because at
in
the
terms
beginning
of a roster need.
Beginning of the day, well, Joe Mixon's still there, so like.
But Zeke is not the starter.
Truth, Mixon and Zeke would be a nice little tandem there. But what I will say is this: what was reported originally was that Zeke had these like offers on the table. He gets to choose one by the end of the week. But it's turning out that I don't think he has any offers right now. Maybe he does, but like, and we said this when he got cut. Was there a big market for him? People were saying Tampa. People were saying Cincinnati was one that was brought up. Buffalo was brought up because of their running back situation over there to be, supplemental backup. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, I don't think anybody wants him right now, or at least the price that he thinks he can get.
You might see a situation where a couple guys go down, and then Zeke has a situation where he could step in and get some valuable carries. But come on now, what are we talking about? The Eagles, they don't even hand the ball off on short yardage plays. So what would be the point?
He's literally turned himself into a glorified fullback. Honestly, like that's. I know, it's coming from me.
Guys.
Listen, it's coming from me because I saw what his role was last year. And did I see some burst at certain times? Sure. Did I see that on a 2nd and 1, you hand the ball off to Zeke? On a 1st and goal, you hand it to him 3 times. He's bound to get in once. Yes, you play those odds. That's exactly what his thing was. But his $16 million what? His $16 million
Zeke
cap hit.
He's averaging 0.3 yards a carry from the one.
Doesn't matter, right? Can't even get the 1 yard. No, he definitely, listen, he scored a bunch last year. And that's what his agent is probably pitching to some of these teams that, hey, listen, my guy can score. My guy's a grinder. And look, of course, what you saw was videos being put out there by Zeke and his team of he just looks like he's fresh and he's got burst and he's got this and he's got that. And look, last year, if you put out this video, I'm all hyped. I'm like, let's go. Zeke looks amazing. Here we go. He's going to lead the league in rushing again. And then this year, I'm just like, we've seen this song and dance before, Zeke, and we've seen what you produce on the field. And I love Ezekiel Elliott, the player.
Look, so nobody's
I just don't know his value right now.
Zeke is not a talented guy. He's athletic. I mean, he played in the NFL for almost 10 years at this point.
7.
Almost 10. So when you see Zeke working out on Instagram, it's going to look like, oh, wow, he's in shape.
He yells a lot.
So is everyone else in the NFL. So
with the ball in his hand.
It's like, let me see any running back in the league working out.
They all look great.
They all look like they belong in the NFL.
So that's Zeke. So that's Zeke and his agent. His agent, Rocky, is a certified agent in the NFL to negotiate contracts. What Lamar Jackson doesn't have is a certified agent that can negotiate contracts. What in God's name is happening with Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I don't
Yesterday, the news breaks that there was a memo sent out to the league. And Schefter put this out too. He said there was a memo put out to the league that there's a guy. What's his name? Francis?
Art?
No. Is it Art Francis or something? You got the name? But anyway, that there's somebody that's, I guess, talking for Lamar Jackson. Now, the problem is, in the NFL, there's rules and regulations to this stuff. You don't just get to, like me and Chris can't go out to, the backup tight end of the Jets and be like, look, man, I'm going to negotiate all your deals for you. What do you do for a living? Well, I run a sports media company, and that's what I'm definitely qualified.
But did anybody see what he was actually, this guy does for him?
No. I all I know is the memo was sent out almost like a, hey, imposter alert, do not negotiate with this guy. He is not certified to negotiate this contract. And all of a sudden, Lamar Jackson, you said he put out a tweet about 20 minutes after the memo tweet came out. So Lamar Jackson is just, what he's doing right now is A, not any favors for himself. B, like harming his negotiation skills, because if you just bring one of your boys in to just try to negotiate your deal because he's better at numbers than you are, like it doesn't make any sense to me. And keep in mind, the Ravens did offer him a contract. He turned it down, right? So Lamar was able to get that number on into the circle and into the wave and into the I denied this and blah, blah, blah. That means he definitely negotiated something. But he has to finish the job. He has to put the pen to paper, and he's doing it with a fake agent, I guess you can call him. Are you reading it more into this?
Yeah, I mean,
you catching up
I
to
can't
speed?
even. I wish I could wrap my head around all this as I'm reading it, but it's just, I don't know if Lamar is. There's a tweet put out there, and it's the Ben Affleck meme. I don't know if you know the one where he's like just
with a cigarette in his hand, you just can't take it anymore. Yeah,
right. And
great meme,
it's okay to not be okay or something about. But then it's like almost like it's a tongue-in-cheek way of doing it, which I'm fine with. I'm not saying he's making light of mental health or this or that. Like he's probably going through a lot of stuff right now, right?
If he turns on any network ever, they're dragging him right now.
I don't know. I mean, I'm having a hard time. I want to choose my words carefully here because I think Lamar has almost every right to be in the position that he's in. I don't think he's worth the money he's asking for, but I'm typically always on the player side of these things because the team will cut you in a heartbeat. So while you have this value, you got to go after it and get it. And then we see terrible contracts out there. I think Ozzie Newsome was talking about the Deshaun Watson contract yesterday, and he was like, yeah, where we're at right now is we're trying to figure out if that's the new norm or is that an outlier. I think around the league it's understood that that's an outlier.
100%.
There's no way that's going to be.
Which is why they're already renegotiating, like doing restructuring and stuff.
And
they
honestly,
screwed up.
I might have picked that quote from months ago because
whatever.
As I'm reading
Still
this
stands.
right now, bro, I'm looking through it and it's like it's a mess. It's things that I thought happened yesterday and I'm finding out they happened 2 weeks ago. They just came out yesterday. In other words, Lamar Jackson doesn't have a team. I feel like it's just going to get
It
uglier.
is the Ravens, technically. Let's be technical. He's not a free agent.
In the meme, in all fairness to Lamar, there was a Photoshop job done to the meme, and he was wearing a Ravens jersey in the meme.
There you go.
Ravens fans, you could breathe a little bit easier based on
just a little bit, but
that.
not a lot of it.
But I just think it's going to get uglier before it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that there's any teams, especially with the way Lamar is acting now. It seems like Lamar may be spinning out a little bit.
Wouldn't you, after all this stuff? Like, I feel like what you're doing is being dragged through this
yes
whole
and
thing.
No. Yes
but
and
the
no.
problem is this is very, very self-inflicted because you don't have a guy to help you.
Yeah, I think that's what he's starting to realize.
Guy or girl,
now.
whatever, an agent.
You would be better off spending a little bit of money because the agent will probably negotiate a better deal for you anyway. So
100%.
the money you might lose a little bit, but you take yourself out of this situation. Right now, Lamar, I wouldn't say he brought this situation on himself. I won't go as far as that because everybody has a right to do things the way they'd like. But this is a unique situation here where you're trying to get record-setting deals without an agent. I think just in the sense of, and now hear me out here, I think there's relationships with these agents and these teams.
Yeah, of course.
And when somebody goes against the system that's been in place for other people to make a ton of money off of you, and now Lamar's saying, no, that system doesn't quite work for me. I don't want to sit here and say that there's any type of collusion because there's a ton of teams that will, if the price was right, they would say, yeah, collude this, I'm taking them.
100%.
So I don't think that's the case. But there is a thing where it's like they might be like, look, we don't want to talk to you, bro. I'm not negotiating with
They got
Lamar.
a whole memo sent out, like, don't talk to this guy. He ain't real. Like,
And
he's
I
a
can't
figment
tell
of
if
an
Lamar was
imagination.
the tweet after that because it's seemingly deleted now, obviously.
Did he delete it? God, man. It's like...
And either that or he blocked
You
me.
know how fast...
And I don't think he blocked me. I
He
didn't
blocked
say-
you. You know how fast people are on the internet. Like, you put out a tweet for less than a nanosecond, and it's going to be out there for the rest of your life because somebody's going to screenshot it, and you're going to have...
Bro, Conor McGregor, just so we could be clear, and just to go off topic a little bit, Conor McGregor is you know what deleted tweets are? It's like a method.
What do you mean?
Like these athletes.
This is a really funny meme, by the way.
Yeah. These athletes and these guys, sometimes when you want to stir controversy, you say something a little bit crazy and you're like, oh, I thought better of it. Conor deletes tweets he would like post a tweet that he knows he's going to delete in 1 second because he knows that's a better story. It's like
So, just to...
a tweet and delete.
Just to kind of give you some context behind it, because of what I just researched, Tom Pelissero said Ken Francis is a Florida man who most recently was pitching a home fitness invention.
Yes, that's it. He's a gym guy.
He now is trying to negotiate a 9-figure contract with the NFL teams who are being told they're not allowed to talk to him, right? Lamar Jackson, stop lying. That man never tried to negotiate for me. That's what he retweeted, Lamar. So he might have blocked you. But then, like 2 hours later, Lamar puts out, my business partner Ken and I will be dropping the entire quote hashtag the entire gym this summer, which is his business. So yeah, he has a business partner. But that's like literally this. This is literally this. If me and you were to go somewhere and we have to go sign a contract and none of us are agents, I'm going to say, Chris, I don't want to do this. Go negotiate my contract for me. It's like, are you a licensed cop? No, I'm not. Yeah, do it anyway. Like, we're talking 9 figures here. You can't just, and look, he just said stop lying. So Lamar is denying that Ken has gone around to the league.
So it lends
he's
a little bit to the
deading it right
fact
now.
of where I watched this happen last year too with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. The teams will smear a player.
Oh, 100%,
publicly.
dude. They don't care. That's why that's why we both side with the player 9 times out of 10, because the teams will move on from you like that.
It's so crazy because I'll side with the player 9 times out of 10. The player goes back on the team side.
They're smart. They're smart. The team did the right thing, right? But it all depends. Lamar Jackson's situation just keeps getting funkier by the day. But yeah, it's just crazy. So anyway, last night, did y'all dance with us? Did you dance with us? I hope you did, because I texted Chris as soon as it happened. This kid, Markquis Nowell, he had himself a night, man. And that's one of the games I want to cover. There was a beatdown. UConn destroyed Arkansas, 88-65. UConn moves on. A fun story in Florida. Florida Atlantic takes down Tennessee. The number 9 seed is in the Elite 8, so that's fun. But the game that I watched thoroughly was Kansas State and Michigan State. Now, we talked about Tom Izzo. Dude, every time I see him on the sidelines, he was like smirking, smiling, just like, I've been here a million times. This is fun. This is fun. Right? Kansas State is playing their asses off in this game. But Nowell, so there was one moment, and you have to watch this. I know you probably didn't see the actual moment. But I'm sitting there, and I'm watching this kid, first of all, sets an NCAA record for assists. 19 assists last night, right?
10 in the first half.
He is just dishing off dimes left and right. But my favorite assist of the night was he's dribbling the ball down the court. He's looking over at his coach. Coach is yelling. I'm talking yelling at him like, call this play. I might call timeout. And Nowell's doing this. Shut up. Shut up, coach. And, bro, while looking at the coach, floats one up, a no-look alley-oop to score and flush it home. I was like, dude, this is incredible.
I wonder if that was the actual play.
That's what I'm saying. I think they're all in on it. You know what I mean? It looked incredible. But he hits the very end of the game. He picks one off, takes one down the court, lays it in as the buzzer. You didn't have to do it. He didn't need it, but he needed it for my liquid prop bet, and it slapped on the very last second. Wasn't even needed at all, but I slapped that. We both said Kansas State was a fun story, that Tom Izzo of Michigan State was going to be a problem, but this game, again, I'm excited to see him now. Kansas State will take on Florida Atlantic in the Elite Eight over the weekend, so that's going to be exciting as well. But again, we said it was going to be the main event. And it absolutely was. Last night, Gonzaga, UCLA, the 2 seed, the 3 seed.
This is my city.
What?
This is my city.
Right, exactly. Last night, crazy end of the game. 12 seconds left, Bailey hits a 3-pointer. For UCLA, they were down 2. You would think that, like in typical NCAA fashion, 12 seconds left is like a lifetime, right? Like you can get down the court, you don't even have to call timeout, you just go. You go down the court, do what you got to do. These guys dribble down the court pretty much effortlessly, not even contested. And I know UCLA was kind of setting up defense towards the back end there.
Yeah, I think that.
But Strother hits this 3-pointer and
they
bang.
took him by surprise. I think the thought process on the defense was, all right, they're going to play last shot.
Yes, and they didn't.
They did not.
They took the first open look. Not only was this an open
Oh,
look,
my
it was
God.
from a different area code.
By the way, if he does not make that shot,
he's getting crucified.
crucified.
Why are you taking that
And
shot?
rightfully so.
What the hell are you doing? I can't believe you did this. Right? So that's an incredible game. And now Gonzaga will be taking on UConn over the weekend in the Elite Eight. So those games, again, they're great. It's been fun. This tournament has been nothing but bananas. And now tonight, we have another 4, a couple bangers. The one I want to talk about right off the rip is San Diego State taking on Alabama. Now, look, I want to go 2 for 2 on my announced prop plays, but I did announce a couple prop plays last night. But the one that I really, really was into was the Nowell one. The one I'm really, really into tonight is in this Alabama game, and it's Brandon Miller. Okay, now here's the thing. Alabama is 5th in the nation in possessions. They're a fast team. They like to possess the ball. So I just think there's going to be enough possessions for Brandon Miller to do his thing. Right now, his line is set at 18.03. He averages 19 points a game this season. He scored 23 points in the SEC conference final, so you know he's capable of doing this. He's potentially, what I've read, potentially the number 2 overall pick in the NBA draft coming up. So this kid is primed and ready for the spotlight. Give me his over tonight. I think he shows out. He has been battling a little bit of a groin injury, but that's where I'm going with tonight. Alabama look, they're a 1 seed for a reason. I think that San Diego State will give them a run, but overall, Alabama is just too fast, bro. They're too fast of a team. And guard play and just all that. We talked about it yesterday. That kind of basketball will win 9 times out of 10.
I think I'm going to take San Diego State in this one only for the
What are you
simple
doing?
fact that Nick Saban is fading his own team.
I did
Nick
see
Saban
some of
is
that.
not a
Yeah.
fan of Alabama basketball.
yeah.
I personally do not know enough about that situation to even touch on it, but it's kind of crazy when you really think about
It's
it.
Nick Saban. He's been a lifer, or technically. Yeah, it feels
but,
like he's been a lifer.
You know,
But Saban, yeah.
potential top 3 pick. It seems like they're protecting him a little bit, but I have no idea about that situation, so I'm not going to go into that. But it is wild.
It is
when you
a
think
very
about the
wild
things that are
situation.
taking place.
Think about the NFL. Think about any other sporting organization when something like this of that magnitude is even in the news cycle.
But,
Guys get suspended and dropped off the
besides
face
that,
of the earth.
hopefully his groin is okay for Dave's prop bet.
Yes, for all of your prop bets too. So do it. Obviously, my Miami. Houston is absolutely loaded. One of the better teams going into, one of the best teams going into this entire thing. For me, it's Marcus Sasser. Keep your eye on him. His line right now set at 15.25. He's averaged just under 17, but as we get closer and closer to the Elite Eight, Final Four, these stars will show out. So I'm all about the overs right now. Last round drops 22. So it's not impossible out of the realm. I'm in on him. I think the fun run, unfortunately, Chris, for Princeton might come to a very hard, screeching halt. I love the Prince. Obviously, that's a fun story. It's New Jersey. New Jersey stand up. Every year, it seems like one team from New Jersey shows out. But Creighton is they're a good team.
Yeah,
They've
they're
always
not-
been a good team.
I don't know anything about Princeton.
Well,
Besides the fact that
it's
they're
an
playing
Ivy
above
League
their
school.
heads. The time is
located in New Jersey.
Good run, boys.
Yeah. Coach McDermott is going to have Creighton playing tonight. And I think, like I said, fun run, good story. We'll see how it all plays out. Clearly, New Jersey's rooting for Princeton right now. But we'll see. And, of course, later on tonight, Xavier and Texas, the one I'm looking at right now, Jerome Hunter, keep your eyes on him. His point line, very low, is set at 10.86. He averages just under 8, right? So it's just like, all right, Dave, why are you taking the over in this one? He's averaging 18 points through the first 2 rounds of the tournament. So the kid's starting to pick up and heat up at the right time.
Yeah,
so give me Jerome Hunter. You're fading that?
I'm going to fade it. I'm going to explain why.
Go ahead,
Ready?
explain why.
Because the first 2 rounds of the tournament, he probably played against competition that
Don't
he
exist.
hasn't seen all year.
Well, yeah.
Easy competition like that.
Sure,
And I'm not saying that
not
the
a
teams
bad-
that made the tournament,
Right.
but now you're bumping into a much better defensive team. And then if you're looking at his season, bro, I don't trust anybody that can't put up double digits consistently. If you're averaging 8 points, it means that like sometimes you might even get only like 2 field goal attempts in a game because they're not running the offense through him. I want to know what the bigs look like on the other side.
So the Texas bigs?
Yeah.
They're a bunch of big boys in Texas. That's how they're bred. But anyway, that is the NCAA tournament. I'm excited about that. Obviously, by the time we talk on Monday morning, we will have a Final Four set. So exciting basketball coming your way this weekend. The Elite Eight, the Sweet 16 tonight, Elite Eight over the weekend. NBA games of relevance before we get out of here last night. The Knicks just can't seem to get out of their own way right now. Yeah, I know.
Sound of the Knicks backing into the playoffs.
That is the sound of the Knicks backing into the playoffs right now because the Knicks lost again. They're loser of 3 straight. It's not like a pretty 4-6 in their last 10. They seem to be still trenched in the 5 seed right now. The Nets are a game and a half back with just a couple to play. But the problem is the Nets lost last night to the said aforementioned Cleveland Cavaliers. So the Cavs are kind of sitting there saying, all right, we got the 4. We'll see the Knicks in the first round. We'll see how that goes out. Kawhi Leonard, obviously another great game out of him as the Clippers go off in a much-needed game because they're trying to stay. Obviously, the Clippers would love to be the 4 and host the 5 seed, but right now they're sitting at the 5. The Suns, the Clippers, the Warriors, the Timberwolves, the Mavericks, they're all in striking distance. The West is bonkers. I love it, especially down the stretch like this. And I said at one point the regular season doesn't matter. Well, here we are. Here we are, man. There's some of the greatest basketball happening right now. Teams are getting hot down the stretch. So definitely keep your eyes and ears open and glued to the Mojo app as they drop all their prop bets throughout the course of the day. Obviously, you can bet money lines, technically, if that's that's the terminology we're using. Money lines on these games tonight for the Sweet 16. So get yourself involved with that. Follow us right now on the Twitter, the Instagram, and of course, I almost said MySpace, the TikTok, which is almost like the same thing. But you could do that. Follow us there. We appreciate you as always. And of course, join the Discord and a daily conversation to get your all your picks in and get the suggestions that everybody else within the Mojo community are doing out there. So that'll do it. That'll be a show. That's a Feel Good Friday. We got some sports to talk about come Monday morning. We'll see if Zeke winds up anywhere over the weekend. Are you making a paper airplane?
Yeah, Zeke's not going anywhere, bro.
Oh, you think it's going to be one of those like last?
I think it's going to be like a Shady McCoy, like it's November.
It's a crappy airplane.
I try to do it, well, first of all.
Wow. Okay. Can't even
Try
get
to do
the thing
it
off
quick
the
because you were usually it takes a little bit longer for you to get off. So I was like, I need another fold. Hey, buddy.
Hey,
See
buddy.
you on the other side.
For
you know?
Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci, there's going to be a plane coming your way. Wow, right by the camera. We hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you guys here on Monday.